Hey family, this is Ed Poteat here, and I want to introduce you to my mom, my mother-in-law, Tressie Allen. She's third generation Mount Vernon. She went to the first graduating.
Wait a minute, generation? That makes me sound so old. But yeah, the Allens and the Hargroves have been here since the beginning of time. But let me ask you this, Mr. Urban Planning
Yes, ma'am.
Man. What happened to Mount Vernon? I mean, it's not the place that I grew up in.
Yeah.
It's changed,
Yeah.
and not in a good way.
The city has suffered from decades of disinvestment from companies, from businesses, and then people have been leaving the city too. And so it's hard for leadership to gain traction because there's turnover, there's infighting, versus focusing on planning for the future and planning for the growth.
But leadership hasn't been so great in this city.
That's true, but it's not just about leadership. It's structural issues. It's, you know what? Let me explain. Let's take it back, way back. In 1900, Mount Vernon had 21,000 people. By 1960, Mount Vernon quadrupled in size and had 80,000 people. And it grew because industry came into Mount Vernon. Blacks came from the South, and Europeans, mostly from Italy, Ireland, and Portugal, came to live in Mount Vernon, to work in Mount Vernon, and work throughout the region. Businesses grew. 4th Avenue was a busy commercial corridor. We had movie theaters, new offices, and everything you would want in a small city. So what happened? Industry began to leave. Factories closed, and blacks and whites that came to Mount Vernon started to leave. From 1960 to 2020, Mount Vernon lost nearly 20% of its population. Even worse, the tax base from industry was diminished. In order to maintain municipal services, we had to increase the tax burden on homeowners. As the tax burden became too high, we were forced to cut municipal services such as public health, public safety, and youth services. So regardless of who sat in City Hall during this time, they were in a no-win situation because our tax base was depleted. But we can turn the corner by increasing our tax base in order to increase necessary services and lessen the burden on our homeowners. And we can do this by attracting new businesses, attracting new industries, and attracting responsible development to our city. We can't turn the clock back to 1960, but we can chart a path for a prosperous Mount Vernon in the 21st century by planning for growth in our future.
Okay, so that explains it. I understand much better now. But what I don't understand is why you don't call me like you used to.